So, anyone read somewhere where the title of today's lesson is? You know there was going to be a test, right? So we're talking today about destiny, free will, and the big D-O. What do you think D-O is? Divine order, right. So, as good Unity students, we often affirm what? Everything is always in divine order. If I'm honest with myself, and maybe you can relate, that sometimes I look at that whole idea of divine order as maybe there's a loophole. Maybe there's a loophole. If everything is always in divine order, maybe I don't have to take responsibility for that error I made. It's in divine order. What about that argument I had with my spouse or my mother? Maybe I don't have to take responsibility because, after all, it's in divine order. What about fate, providence, luck, fortune? What about the law? And when I say the law, what am I talking about? The law of mind action. Unity's second principle, I create. And where does karma and grace fit in? Where does free will fit in? Speaking of free will, there was a couple who were celebrating their 40th anniversary, 40 years of marital bliss. And for any of us who've ever been married, we know it's never 40 years. There's 2 months here and there's a week there. And there's 5 years here and there's another week here. You know, but for them it was 40 years because we don't count those other weeks, right? 40 years they're celebrating at a big dinner. Wonderful, elegant dinner. And the husband is giving his wife a lovely gift, an antique locket, gold locket on a gold chain. And it's so beautiful. And she receives it in such love, and she opens this antique locket, and out comes a fairy who says to the woman, "You have released me because of your love and devotion for each other. You have released me from this locket, and I am now able to grant each of you one wish. So let's begin with you, madam. What is your wish?" And she said, "I would love to celebrate our relationship on a round-the-world trip. I would love to take this relationship around and share it with other countries and visit those countries together with my husband." And the fairy said, "It is done." 2 first-class round-the-world tickets showed up on the table. And the fairy looks at the husband and says, "And now it's your turn." And he said, somewhat guiltily, "Well, you know, I have to apologize for this, but in order for me to really enjoy this round-the-world trip the way it is, I would really love to share it with a younger woman." "I know." "So, yeah, you got it already. I'd really love for my wife to be 30 years younger than me." And the fairy looked at the wife, looked at the husband, and said, "Okay." And he was 93. So divine order, no loopholes. So where does free will fit in? If everything is always in divine order, is free will simply an illusion? Did I ever have any free will at all? On the other hand, if I have free will, and if I change my actions and my responses and my choices on a whim, for example, I decide to go home on Highway 31 instead of on Valley Avenue. If everything's always in divine order, how can divine order exist within all that chaos? Because each of us, every second, we're each making different choices, different decisions. All that chaos, those are all really good questions that philosophers and lawyers have been struggling with for quite a long time. My lawyer plant didn't make it today, so no offense, Gina. Hear Gina saying none taken? Right, okay. As human beings having a spiritual experience, our tendency is to desire, even require, a linear answer to our questions. An illustration would be nice. Maybe a flow chart. But as spiritual beings, having a human experience, we understand that the answer may have many more components than any linear solution could offer us. In the July and August edition of Daily Word magazine, there's an article on attitude by Gerald Jampolsky and Diane Cerencioni Jampolsky. Some of you are familiar with their attitudinal healing principles. Any of you? Yes? And that, of course, is taken from A Course in Miracles. We have students of A Course in Miracles here, don't we? Yes. With that firm foundation of unity, attitudinal healing, and A Course in Miracles, most of us can agree that there are two and only two energies at work in our lives. And what are they? Love and fear. Love and fear, two energies. Now, as Unity students, we also often affirm there is one presence and one power in the universe, God, our first principle. So just as we ask ourselves how free will and divine order can coexist, how can we believe that there's one presence and one power and also believe that there's also love and fear? Is that not duality? England Dan and John Ford Coley, 1979, sang, "Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer." As human beings having a spiritual experience, we want linear answers. We tend to view our lives as good or bad, win or lose, success and failure, heaven and hell, love and fear. But as spiritual beings having a human experience, we understand that duality is simply a way of understanding how to cope in this three-dimensional reality, and this is not all there is. We believe in oneness, in unity. We understand that the essence of the Almighty, the ineffable, undefinable Creator that created us and continues to create, that created us as part of it, is continually at work in our lives and is beyond linear definition. We understand that there is no need for evil for us to perceive good. We understand that there is no need for fear for us to swim in a sea of love, that there is no need for Satan for us to have a relationship with God. Love is the answer. In algebraic terms, God is love. Okay, you go away. See, divine order, right? Divine order means I am going to walk gently off these steps, and I will not step on this. Jolie, will you take this for me? Thank you very much. Cause and effect, another part of divine order. So in algebraic terms, God is love. We grew up learning that, didn't we, in our churches where we grew up? So if God equals love, love equals God. Whether our belief is in intelligent design, the Big Bang, or the literal 7 days of creation described in Genesis, we can all agree that the creative energy around the creation, the continuing creation of our world as we know it, is love. This creative energy, this love, set us up. We set this up for ourselves in this three-dimensional experience with three primary gifts. Gift number one, divine order. Gift number two, the law of mind action. Gift number three, free will. Now, expressing this thought as three gifts in a three-dimensional experience is, well, pretty elegant. But it doesn't quite express my understanding of how destiny, free will, and divine order work together. So here's a different way to express it. There is only love, also known as God, the divine. Because the divine is perfection itself, it follows that every experience is perfect, no matter appearances. Since every experience is perfect, no matter appearances, everything is always in divine order. Divine order is the foundation, the framework, the rock on which we build. Carol, when you and Bruce are redoing your homes, that framework, that foundation must be solid. Am I right? Yes, so that's our framework. That's our foundation. Divine order. Here's what divine order isn't. It isn't a loophole. It isn't an excuse. It isn't an alternative to saying, I was mistaken and I apologize. Instead, divine order offers us, and that's not exactly right, because when I say offers us, that means that we have a choice. And we don't really have a choice whether to choose it or not. Divine order is always at work. This is the place where free will is not an option. Divine order establishes the framework, the foundation, within which the law of mind action and free will work. The law of mind action, also known as the law, is the immutable principle that our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, whatever we're focusing on, that's what's creating our experience. What did Job say? What I have feared has come upon me. What was Job focusing on? Everything he was afraid of. And everything he was afraid of showed up in his life from the Hebrew Bible. Free will is our ability to choose our thoughts, to decide among an abundance of options which direction to take, which road to go down, or whether to travel at all. Everything is always in divine order because nothing random lives in the universe. Even within chaos theory is the divine. Divine order brings all life into its highest light, into its best karmic balance. Even that which appears to be in disorder has the element of the divine in it. Remember the story of Joseph from the Hebrew Bible, the book of Genesis. Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, and through the course of events, Joseph rose within his culture to a place where during a famine, he was able to provide food for his brothers. Joseph said, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. Exactly. So Jesus said it this way from his Sermon on the Mount, judge not by appearances. And here's what Snoop Dogg said. Ain't no thing. I probably don't have that cadence right, but still. It ain't no thing. Whatever is going on is in divine order, and within that divine order, we have free will. I can take 70, 80, 90 years to remember who I am, and I can continue to suffer all that time if I want to. Or I can remember right here, right now, who I am and why I'm here, and end the suffering. So that brings us to destiny, fate, providence, and luck, and that's all about consciousness. It's about what we focus on. If my soul's purpose will be best achieved by me becoming a gazillionaire, a little thing like not buying a lottery ticket is not going to stand in my way. And I'm not eliminating that from my possibilities. So we have an infinite number of opportunities to choose the path of love instead of the path of fear. So when holding a DVD in one hand and a sandwich in the other hand, remember which one has which thing in it. When running errands where one stop involves dropping off a handgun and another stop involves stopping at the bank, remember to drop off the handgun first. And if you're prone to impulse purchases, focus on shoes, not tattoos. We have an infinite number of opportunities to choose the path of love instead of fear, the path of abundance instead of poverty, the path of peace instead of suffering. Destiny, free will, and the big D-O, divine order, it's our destiny to remember who we are and why we're here, and to fully express the Christ Spirit, to shine our lights. Because, as we know, everything is always in divine order. Let's pray. Precious, precious Spirit, that Spirit that animates each of us, the Spirit that brought us here to share our light with each other, that brought us here together to be this energy, this light, this beacon in our community. Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. Amen.